There we go. Now that I can hear myself for a moment, as we all know, there's a bit of a delay there. My name is, wait, let me go to the graphics because we're doing everything on the YoloBox Pro. My name is Anthony Barocas. I am here for YOLO Live. I am an independent producer based in Dallas, Texas. So we are on Central Time and it is noon here in Dallas, Texas. But as we all know, this show is viewed around the world. So if you are anywhere around the world and you haven't already chimed in the comments on Facebook or YouTube, please chime in. Let me know where you're watching from. I always find it very interesting. I hope our friends Uli in Israel are doing okay. Don't expect him to come in today's show, but we're hoping he's okay. And also, I was surprised to see Saul TV from St. Louis posting Mexico. I know Mexico just had a hurricane come in the middle or more southern end of it, so I hope that's not where you are. Dave Dopery says hello from Atlanta, which is nice. Nice this time of year. And of course we have the McGee Academy of Arts and Science Broadcasts, which is a really nice name, watching in Pico Riviera, California. And of course, Peter J. Milner is watching in Southwest UK. I see people coming in on Facebook, joining in. So I'm basically just stalling for time. Let's see. And JJ's Aviation TV have not been able to catch your show live for a couple weeks. Well, of course, you know, you're doing your live Heathrow landings and, you know, you've got thousands of viewers live. So you got a better show with a bigger audience. So that's cool. Actually, I'd be curious to know, you can comment in the comments, how many people do you get watching live? Because when I went and watched the show, it said it had, you know, 1,100 views, but that was a day. So I'm wondering how many people like concurrently, you know, do you have hundreds of viewers through the whole thing? Do you have tens of viewers through the whole thing? Do you have 1,000 viewers through the whole thing while you are live? So let me know in the comments. Again, this is a live show. We are here live. I am actually standing here in Texas talking to you. You are 20 seconds behind me. That's the way it is. But you can see this on Facebook, YouTube, and we are on LinkedIn. I can see that right over there. We are on LinkedIn. However, if you are on LinkedIn, the comments are not hooked to come back to me. So if you want to comment and have your question be part of the show, follow the link that I posted in LinkedIn to go over to YouTube and have that come in. YouTube is, I think, the best platform for this. Also today, based on, here it is, the YoloBox to Instream. I am actually going to, how do I do this? I guess you just push this button. I'm checking my connection. I am actually going to be pushing this live to my Instream. It says, I am now live. I am not a vertical producer, but the Instream is the focus of today's show. So I don't know. This will be my first time actually using the Instream to push to Instagram. I don't really use Instagram that much. I actually have to get my glasses to read the tiny comments. We've got a lot going on with this show. Hang on, we're telling more followers to join your video. Two other points of note. Today's a sneezy day for me, so I've been sneezing. So if I stop to like wipe my nose, I apologize. That's just the way life is. We're all human. And secondly, this is a cool thing. We have a special giveaway. I'll scroll down here. We have a special giveaway. If you go to bit.ly YOLO Tech Talk Wednesdays, I was torn between Ask Anthony Anything and Tech Talk Wednesdays, but I went with the TT Wednesdays. So let me bring that back up. If you go to bit.ly/YOLO-Tech Talk Wednesdays, caps don't matter. We're having a giveaway for a free month of bonding that you can use for your live streams. If you already subscribe to bonding, it'll be added to the end, or you'll get an extra month for free. It'll just be tacked on, or your account will be added a month. If you don't subscribe to bonding, you'll get a coupon for a free month so that you can try it out, see how it works. It's a $30 value. I would show you the overhead, but we got a bit going on here today, so I will go over here and I'll just show right here so you can see the monthly plan. You get 20 gigabytes of streaming and it's $30 a month. So this is a $30 US value. And there are street bonding servers around the world. They're not in every country. They're in different zones. One in the EU, one in the US, one in Asia. And it's $300 a year. So that's basically what we're giving away. And the way we're doing that is we have a form, or I should say, I have a form, and I'm hoping all this works because I just built it this morning. Frank approved this, and so this is certified, Frank certified. There is a Google form that you fill out, type in your name and your email, and then just curious just so you know, bonding only works with the YoloBox Pro and the YoloBox Mini. It does not work with the original YoloBox. It does not have the processing power to handle it. And bonding does not work with the Instream. So for users of those two products, the bonding may not help you. And the YOLO Live bonding only works with the YOLO boxes. So if you don't currently use the YoloBox and are interested in trying it out, you could enter. I mean, it's open to anybody. Anybody can enter. Anybody could possibly win. But you're only going to be able to use it if you are a YoloBox Pro or YoloBox Mini user. So I just want to get that out of the way. Nobody's commented on Instagram. And if you want to jump over to Instagram and throw a comment at me just so I can see how this works, my Instagram handle is iebacom, IEBACOM. Let me see. There's no comments tab, so I guess they just scroll up in the video window. And that is really the focus of today. Is we are going to be taking my program from here, my horizontal program, as you can see, because that's live, and we are going to be bringing that over into the Instagram, or I am actually live in Instagram right now, iebacom, and we are, let's just see, where is my audio? Let's bring, that's why nobody's listening to me. I forgot to turn the audio on. There it is. Now they can hear me. It's because I created a new thing over here. So this is what the topic of today's show, but it's an open show. So your questions don't necessarily have to be limited to the Instagram or Instream, Instagram, vertical streaming or anything like that. They could be anything streaming related, anything YoloBox related. And I did see a couple things come in, so let me quickly say hello to anybody else who jumped in. TV Podium BT says how to add a GIF on top of the video. Adding a GIF on top of your video is super easy. I will do this with the overhead. There we go. And so if I wanted to add a GIF to this, a GIF is an overlay. So we're going to click on this. We're going to click on image overlay. And I have way at the bottom of all these images, and I know I keep saying I need to go and trim these down. I have a little animated GIF right here. I can click on that. I say done. And then I'm not going to auto hide it. You know what? I'll just put it over here in the corner. And then I'll shrink it down a little bit. Shrink it down. Okay, oops. Or put it down here, like next to a little globe. Say done, and then I've got that little spinny globe, and then I can just tap it, and there you go. That's how you get a GIF as an overlay, because I can walk behind it. It's an overlay, and that's how simple it is. A GIF can be animated, which is the biggest difference from a PNG or a JPEG or anything else. The GIF can be animated, and that is a very useful advantage, because it doesn't just have to be like a little spinning globe. You can have something that has like logos. So if you're doing something sports or something else related, you can have logos of different companies that change every 10 seconds, and it could cycle through 10 different things. So that is really cool. Hey, look at that. Aerobic Ping Gong joined. Okay. Somebody joined on Instagram, and I welcome those watching on Instagram. If you want to see the real, I didn't create a graphic on Instagram to refer you back to YouTube, but if you go to the YOLO Live Tech channel, you can see it there. Dave Dopper says hello from Atlanta. Wolfgang says hello and greetings from Germany. Just finished streaming around on TikTok with the Instream 2 hours ago. They've already made multi-stream with simultaneously to Instagram and to TikTok. And that is one of the cool things with the YoloBox is that you can simultaneously stream to 2 vertical platforms at the same time. Grunt USMC, 369, Hoorah, is from watching from Camp Pendleton. Dave Dopre says 400 to 500. Oh, there you go. The live shows typically attract 150 to 200 concurrent viewers. Wow, that is really cool. As for the get well soon, thank you. Usually it just lasts a day or so. Whatever pollen is blowing through the area then sort of clears its way out. But 150 to 200 concurrent viewers of airplanes landing at Heathrow is pretty cool. And I have watched it. It's a pretty well-produced show. You're able to like actually tell people what the plane is coming in. So you're listening to other chatter and providing additional information. J Films 809 from it says hello from Atlantic City. I used to go down there. Today I had 251 viewers on TikTok and a nice 1,500 likes and hearts. That's nice. That is awesome. Where is this going live on Instagram? It's going live to Iebacom. IEBACOM is my handle on Instagram. Jules Apatini is watching from New York City. Hopefully the not flooded part of New York City. And Lex Longy is saying hello from Richmond, Virginia. So again, just a reminder today, this is a user-driven show. It is sort of like the user group itself. If you are on, no, not that one. Oh, they're all out of order. That's interesting. The YOLO Live user group on Facebook is a dynamic interaction between all kinds of users, and the YOLO Live team themselves in China are in the group answering questions, asking questions of users too. If you're a native Spanish speaker, there's YoloBox in Espanol. And if you're watching on Facebook, know that we have a YOLO Live Tech channel on YouTube where you can find all of these videos and more. Lastly, if you have a tech question that can't be answered by all of the above, you can go to contact@yololive.com. And for those who joined late, because we've just doubled our numbers, I want to remind everyone that we actually have a giveaway happening today. We're going to be giving away a month of bonding. If you don't use bonding, you can get a month for free. It's $30 US value. If you already pay for bonding, a month will be added to your contract. So it's good either way. Disclaimers: it's available worldwide, but it's only usable on the YoloBox Pro and the YoloBox Mini, which have the bonding capability. The Instream is using the app, the Instagram app or the TikTok app. So it's going directly to those channels, and there's not a way to insert YOLO Live's bonding in between those things. And the original YoloBox doesn't have the CPU horsepower in it to utilize multiple connections and aggregate that data across all of them. So if you want to make use of it, you're going to need to be a YoloBox Pro or YoloBox Mini user. So with that, I will bring this up on the screen. This is the QR code to the page where you can enter. And I will double check. I'm going to click on this so that I can look at this over here and see. Oh no, it's over on this screen. Yes, I have multiple screens and multiple machines all going at the same time. I see entries coming in. And if you have not already entered, please go to that website and enter, because it's available to anyone around the world, because they are doing it on your account directly. So again, here is the QR code if you want to use your phone to enter. And I actually have a live spreadsheet up so I can see who is entering and make sure that it's working. I do see entries coming in. So And if that is a little too complex, if you're on a computer, you can go to bit.ly YOLO-Tech Talk Wednesdays, TTW. Caps and lowercase don't really matter. But that will take you to the form to fill out to be entered to win. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a wheel of names of everybody who's entered, because the form talks to a Google spreadsheet, and then the Google spreadsheet talks to the wheel of names. I'm hoping all of this works. If not, I'll just, we'll pick a number at random, and that'll be the person in the list that wins. So I hope you wish you all luck in winning. I can't win. But today's talk is no more questions have come in, so we're going to get right to the business of today. Let me bring this back up on the screen. And what we have here is I have my Instream. And what you see right here is a USB camera. So this is my main camera. If I move over a little bit, this is my main camera. And then over here is, or I should do it with this hand. This over here is my USB camera. And this is my main camera. So I've got two cameras going, and this is, and this right here, let's go to my overhead. This right here is my USB camera. I also have HDMI 1. So when you bring in a source, like right now I'm bringing this output through my HDMI out all the way into HDMI in over here, and that is my HDMI 1. So the first thing you're going to want to do, obviously, is set your output, your program out to be the program, not the whole switching screen, which you can see over here. I have the whole screen. And I'm also going to turn off that spinny GIF. So let's go back to our graphics. We're going to turn that on, and then boom, we get the whole, just the program out. So program out is on. If you leave that off, then you're getting the whole interface, the entire screen of the YoloBox, which is useful. When I do these demos and I'm showing you the whole interface, this is what I'm doing. I'm taking the output of this YoloBox Pro and I'm taking that out HDMI so that I can show you closely what I'm doing. But because I'm taking this and I'm feeding it over here, I don't have this to show you, so I just have the overhead camera showing you both of them, which is probably better for what we're doing here. So we're going to turn that on. Now, you can see very quickly that that's not going to work very well. Hello, Anthony. This is Jules. Good to see you, Jules. Thanks for watching on Instagram. I am live, and as everyone who's watching on Instagram is going, that doesn't work right. That does not look good. And so we switched back to my main camera. And if you've used the Instream, it works kind of the same way. You can bring on titles. You could do countdown timers. Actually, you do have bonding over there. Look at that. I don't know how they worked that out. But there's bonding over there. So I stand corrected. I literally do stand corrected. We can record. You've got auto switching over here. But our main concern is fixing this camera view so that it works in this vertical format. Because right now, this doesn't. Now, if you click on the gear icon, you can flip horizontal. Now, when I flip horizontal, it's flipping horizontal based on the vertical frame. So it's flipping this way, not horizontal based to, it doesn't know the source coming in is a horizontal source being rotated. It doesn't know that. It just knows video. So that does not look very good, and we'll switch it back. So flip horizontal is not what we're looking to do. Flip vertical is not what we're looking to do, because now it's flipping it this way, but it's still it's still wrong. So we're going to flip it vertical again. What we want to do is rotate 90 degrees, and then this is actually going to rotate only in one direction, and it's not the direction we want to go. Although we could, at this point, now flip not horizontal, sorry. Flip vertical, and then there you go. But there's multiple ways to solve a problem, so I'm just going to keep rotating my way all the way around, and there we go. So now I have my horizontal video come in and I've spun it around. So now it's the person in the horizontal frame is vertical. But as you can see, if I cut to this, it doesn't fill the frame. So same person as Jules Apatini on YouTube. Just wanted you to know that. Man, this is really tiny text on there. I can see why people want to take the output of the Instream and feed it to a big monitor. Although, here's a handy trick. This is like a mini Android window. So if you take this, drag up, you can then make it full size. And now you can see your comments a whole lot easier. So if you're just going to do a show and do most of your switching over here, and you just want to see the comments over here, you can do that. You can size this out so this becomes easier to see. Excuse me. I watch you on both. Why is Instagram ahead of the YouTube? Instagram probably, well, I don't know. And I don't know which is ahead, the audio or the video. But, oh, Instagram is live because it's going directly to the app. Instagram is ahead of YouTube because I am coming through here and it's being pushed directly to Instagram. Whereas we're going through Facebook and YouTube and it's a content delivery network. So what it's doing is it's transcoding to HD, 720p, standard definition. It's doing a transcode, so it takes 20 seconds. You can go into a low latency mode, but I just go with the standard 20 seconds. So that's why. So let's drag up from the bottom, and then we'll make that smaller again, and I get my interface back. So here you can see, what if I want this to fill the frame? What if I want this to look like what I'm seeing over here on the left-hand side of this horizontal frame? Then what I'm going to do is I am going to come in here and I'm going to say I want to crop. So I'm going to go on the cropping, and you can see it's a vertical frame. So all I need to do is size this down to my vertical frame, say fit to the screen. This is key because what you're going to do is you're going to, you're not just doing this, but you want to stretch it back out to fill the whole frame. You say done, and now I have the whole thing. Now I've got a little horizontal flip going on here, so let me just see which one. Let's see if I flip this. There we go. Oop. Hang on, blow my nose a little bit. Like I said, it's a sniffly day for me, but if I click on this, this looks much better for the Instagram viewers, and this is how you can bring your horizontal content into the vertical world by taking vertical slices out of your horizontal content. And if you think about it, you think about what you're bringing in and what's available, that then lets you make use of this crop feature, and you can have multiple crops from your source file. So if you have two people standing here, you could do a vertical crop on the left and you can do a vertical crop on the right. So let me show you how, we'll do this again. So you come in here and we say crop, and then I'm going to size this down. But let's just say I had somebody standing over here. So I had two people left and right. Say fit to the screen, say done. Now they're actually the same. So if I had somebody on the left and somebody on the right, I could cut between those two people. Yeah, I've got a little box wipe going on here, but that's, but I'm just showing you that you can have two different crops coming from the same horizontal frame. You can have one here and one here, and they would look like two separate cameras from one camera input. But and there are two HDMI inputs. So that's like technically 4 different isolated shots coming from 2 cameras into the Instream. And that is a really cool feature because, you can't take a vertical camera in the horizontal world and then chop it up. And well, I mean, you could, but it would not look very great. There's not a rotate and crop and all this stuff for your camera to take a vertical camera in and people aren't vertical. It's like I'm not going to have somebody above me and below me that I could then separate into two shots. It doesn't work that way. But I can have two people side by side that I can separate into two vertical slices from this horizontal frame. And that can give you 4 virtual cameras going into your Instream, in addition to the USB camera, which, you know, in this case is not a great camera. It's just a camera I got off of Amazon for $49. But it's something that I can have plugged in here just to demonstrate that, you know, here's a USB camera and it's super easy to hook up. MBSE1 joined. Well, welcome to my Instream. How do I wave? Oh, I could wave. Can I wave? Oh, I waved at MBSE. Okay. I'm learning Instagram. I feel so old at this point. But this is a key feature or advantage of bringing horizontal content into the Instream that you're not going to get if you have your cameras already situated vertically. And then, of course, you can still take these and you can do pictures in pictures. You could do a PIP video with, you know, that done. Oh, and that done. And then you can arrange them however you want to arrange them. And then you could do 3 views and 3 views with 1, 2, or 3. You know, they give these different multi-views here that you could set up and have available, which really does dress up your Instagram or your Instream. So let's try this one, 2 views this way. I could do this one done as, yeah, okay, this one. I'm used to doing it on the, so you can see now the horizontal frame works great there. And then I could have this is a ISO of someone else in the frame or from another camera, and they're closer. So that could be your host and your guest, making your guest more important. Separator positions. Can I move that? So, and then it allows you to just dress it up very nicely to match the horizontal framing of that video. And then if you wanted to swap, you could swap like that, but that doesn't work very well. Done. And that's available as a multi-view, just like on the YoloBox. These are already preset and you can just tap on it and there it is as a nice preset. Oh, I see a bunch of comments coming in on, I am going to jump over to the comments on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube at the YoloLife Tech channel, I'm just telling the people on Instagram where we are. Oh, JJ's Aviation joined. Started following me. Oh, I can wave. I'll wave. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Lex Longy says, what about YoloBox Ultra? Will I be able to do internet bonding on TikTok? Apparently, yes, because I thought that the Instream did not, but apparently it does. And so the Ultra, which I happen to have here, and you can tell because it's got 4 HDMI inputs, the Ultra, you can select between horizontal mode and vertical mode. You can't do both at the same time. It's 2 different apps on the device. It just saves you from having to buy 2 different devices. But as you can see, by utilizing 2 different devices, I can do a horizontal show that works great for horizontal viewers, and then I can do a vertical show that looks great for vertical viewers. You can't do that on the Ultra. The Ultra saves you from having to buy 2 different devices, but realistically, it's 2 different viewing experiences. And I think the Ultra is going to have a lot of capabilities that sort of are over and above trying to integrate 2 different things. You know, for those people who want to do a vertical event in the afternoon and a horizontal event in the evening, you only have to have 1 device. But for those who want to do both destinations at the same time, this makes more sense so that I can bring up graphics that are off to the left here. And then if I bring up a graphic here in this vertical frame, it's going to be in the middle here, you know? And that way I'm doing graphics appropriately for each viewing audience. That's the key thing, is that you have to make those viewing environments work for the viewers. Yeah, it would be simple. It's like, why can't I do it all in one machine? Well, you could, but then you'd only be doing this teeny little horizontal show in the middle of this big wide canvas. And I didn't want to turn that on, turn it off. And then over here, it might get kind of cluttered, if you're doing things to all trying to fit in that tiny little space over here, and this would just all be wasted area on the sides. In which case, just do it over here, And can you bring this over here? Well, yeah, you can, but then everything is here and there's nothing on the sides. They're two different, it's like a sandwich and a pizza, two different meals. And those who want a pizza want their pizza to taste good. And those who want a sandwich want their sandwich to taste good. So don't make a sandwich and try to send it to both guests at your restaurant, so to speak. Can you add the link on this section maybe later? The link on this section. I don't understand the question. What about the internet bonding on TikTok? Like I says, because the Instream has bonding available, I believe that you can. But as I says, I am not a vertical streamer, so kudos to all you watching on Instream. And boss, in Instagram only to see you. Thank you. Reaction YouTube says hello from Chicago. Lex Longe says, can you rotate the camera to do a live on TikTok, or is it just cropping the image? Well, the thing is, I don't want to rotate the camera because I'm actually taking a horizontal program and bringing it into Instream. That's the key thing, is I'm not shooting with vertical cameras. I'm actually doing a horizontal production and then bringing that horizontal frame into the Instream, which is why I need to do that rotation. And that's why, this is what I end up with, and then I have to crop into it. You can see there's a little spinning globe, but when you go to my big frame, it doesn't show up. That's why, doing a show in horizontal has to understand, if I'm going to repurpose this, if I'm going to bring up my graphic over here, do I even have a graphic over here? If I have this graphic over here, it looks great in the horizontal frame, but it doesn't work in the vertical frame. So it's almost like, I would need to set up different graphics for my lower thirds so that, done, I could get rid of the GIF. And then what I would do is go back to my graphics over here. I would have two different shows going on, bring up the graphics. So each viewer is seeing graphics, but each viewer is seeing graphics appropriate to their viewing experience. And then that way, when I want to bring them out, take it out. And if I wanted to do the spinning globe, I do the spinning globe over here. If I want to do the spinning globe, I'd have to move it in and make sure it's available in the space that's available for viewing, which is why these are all vertical titles. If I was doing a countdown, like when I do the countdown for the show, I have it up and off to the side because I have this horizontal canvas to work with. Whereas here, I might just take it and center it down in the bottom because I have a vertical canvas to work with. So Franklin Abreu says, how can I manipulate the equipment remotely? You can't. The YoloBox is meant as a physical, tactile, touchscreen device with physical inputs. It's not meant as a remote administratable device. It's, if you want to do something in the cloud, there are plenty of solutions for that. The YoloBox exists in a space whereby these tools are they're compact. Like, if you've got the mini, it literally fits in your pocket and you can take streaming and bonding with you. And this means, you're taking it to a location to get the content and then push it into the cloud. If you want to remotely administer the thing that you're taking to a location, or you want to embed something there's other tools for that. But the YoloBox, because it has the battery, because it has the physical connections, it's a purpose-built tool to do a certain thing. And that thing is to be physically hands-on, to physically plug in the connections, to physically, get your audio right there. That's what these things are for. Main Street Media TV says, easy request, I would think, allowing a scoreboard to fade on and off. It's so unprofessional to have it pop on and off. Keep up the great work, front and behind the scenes, folks. Yeah, the scoreboard itself, and that also applies to the, this is the remote scoreboard. It pops on and it pops off. And the built-in scoreboard, let's just see it. No, I want to do, no, scoreboard is right here. And put on the scoreboard display, say check, it's on, and then check, it's off. So it pops on, it pops off. It doesn't fade on and off like it does other titles. I think, and again, I'm not one of the engineers. I don't work in the coding section. I'm a video producer. I write for Streaming Media Magazine and I do live content. I believe it's because it's a data engine. It's not a graphic element that is fixed and being pulled on. It's sort of being constructed on the fly with data. You know, the scoreboards, the time, the all this stuff. That's all constructed on the fly. And once it's up, that data can change while the graphic is up. Whereas all the other graphics, except I guess animated GIF, all the other graphics are static. They don't flutter on. They don't change over time. They don't do anything. So it's this thing that because the graphic is not changing, they're able to fade it on and off. But because the graphic can change with the scoreboard, they're bringing it on, but the scoreboard itself can be changing. So that would be my guess. Again, I don't work in the engineering department, so I can't speak from experience. Does the Mini do cropping as a new source? I've not found it. Does the Mini do cropping? I just put the Mini down. Let us turn one on and find out. The Mini does do cropping, I believe. And you can see it's got a Snapdragon chip in it. The Mini does do cropping that of sources, but it does not do the rotation that the Instream does, specifically to bring in remote guests. The ability to take in my horizontal source and spin it around so that I've made it vertical and then to do the crop is different than being able to crop that on the fly. I got a white cable here, I got a white cable there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to rejigger some cables here so that I have a feed into the Mini. This is what the live show is all about. You know, your questions answered live, and if I can't answer them live, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and make it happen. So here, I just hooked my main camera into the Mini, and then if you go to your sources, and then you've got the little icon here in the corner, so you click on that, and then you can do your cropping, and then I can scale my crop, so I could do a virtual, like of just a close-up. I say fit to the screen, I say done, save as a new thing, and now I've got my wide shot, and then I've got my close-up, and then I've got my wide shot, and I've got my close-up. So the Mini, yes, has that feature just like the Pro, where you can crop. But as I says, what you can't do is there's no rotate feature. So when you click on this, unlike the Instream, where when I click on that, I get all these different features. When I do it on the Mini, I literally tap on the gear icon and it takes me to chroma keying or cropping. And the cropping does not have a rotate feature to it, just scaling it in. So horizontal for horizontal, and then I could zoom it to fit the screen, or I could leave it small. And that's how the Mini works. Lex Longe says, any clue as to when the YoloBox Ultra release date will be? As Frank announced at IBC, the target is end of October, which is this month, beginning of November. And because I know that software, and as every user knows, software is more important than hardware. Yes, you can put the chips there, you could put physical inputs there, and all of that is great. But the software has to have all the bugs ironed out in order for this to be a usable product. And if it got pushed into November or, wherever, so that the software was done, I'd be happy with that. I am looking forward to it. I am looking forward to pushing this to its limits, because I have done shows on the Pro where I have pushed it to its limits. I have done 3 different green screens coming in and a USB input, and overlays and two green screens side by side. And realistically, the processor that's in there, was given over the course of time more capabilities than it was when it was first put in. So that's why when they say this thing is 4K capable, I said, great, because if you overbuild it so it can do 4K, then it should do HD really, really well. So if 4K capability is kind of up here, then HD capability can be kind of down here. And then I can do green screen, another green screen, and overlays, and two overlays, and three overlays, and animated, and still be under the threshold of the processor, even with all this extra stuff that I load into it and force it to do. That way I am not hitting against the top of the processor. And I've done that even with PCs. You start asking it to do more and more and more. I bring a certain PC to do a certain job for a client, and then while I'm there, we want to add another studio camera. And we need to add an NDI camera. And can we have a second output? And we need to have a remote caller come in. Okay, all those were not in the original request, and the specification, the capability of this computer was matched to that request. You want a bigger machine. The bigger machine costs more money. Don't ask me to bring, we're just going to have two cameras and that's it. It's going to be a really simple thing. And then all of a sudden it becomes this really complex thing. The what they call scope creep affects computers too. So the same thing affects all of these tools that we use, that, you can do multiple things, but you can actually increase the scope of what you're trying to do beyond what can happen in this. Remember, these are tiny Android tablets. I can hold it in my hand, and you shouldn't expect this to do what a big desktop PC can do. And I've been in instances where I've gone beyond the capabilities of a big desktop PC. Time Off with Lee says, just received my YoloBox Mini yesterday. Been having fun playing with it and learning its capabilities. And to that end, if you go over to YouTube, let me click on the YouTube. Be sure to check out the tech page. There's a whole tech tips. You can see that right over here. This is the tech tips channel, and there are all these videos here, 21 videos telling you all about the different features. Now, they may not all be Mini specific, but multi-streaming, networking, your audio, customizing your graphics, multi-views, those are all definitely applicable. And those will quickly get you up to speed with your Mini. And then, like I says, if you are a member of the Facebook official YoloLive user group, there are a lot of other YoloBox users out there that can answer quick questions. If you're a native Spanish speaker, there's YoloBox in Espanol. Of course, I just mentioned the YoloLive Tech channel on YouTube. And lastly, if you can't get your answers there, you can contact at YoloLive.com. For those who came on late, let me check my YouTube and see how we're doing on YouTube. We got a good audience on YouTube. Let me remind everyone that today, for today's show, we have a giveaway. I talked with Frank. We discussed this at IBC, and today it becomes a reality. We are giving away a month of bonding, and that month is for you. The bonding is available as a service on the Pro, the Mini, and the Instream. And if you don't have bonding, you get a coupon for a month, and you can use it for a gig or for a client or whatever it is. You get a month. And the month gives you 20 gigabytes of data to pass through it. And remember, with the multi-streaming capability, you're only sending one stream of 5 megabits. You're not sending 3. So you're not sending 15 megabits at a time. And bits are not bytes. You get 20 megabytes, which is a lot of data. You just do your math. How much time is that is going to be the first question. Depends on what your data rate is. And then if going to this website is a little challenging, if you got a phone, you can actually just scan that QR code right there, and that'll take you right to the entry form. And let me quickly come over here and see how we're doing on entries. See who's going to be our winner. We have only a couple people. So your opportunity to win is big. Only a couple people. I am in there as a test, and I will actually try and delete me right now. Delete row, just so that I don't come up as an in. But again, if you are watching, use your cell phone. Come over here, scan this, and you could enter to win a month of bonding. It's a $30 value. And if you are handy on a typewriter, you can go to bit.ly/YOLO Tech Talk Wednesdays. And we will be giving that away at the end of the show. Boom, 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 boom. Let me continue with the comments. Alonzo says, greetings from Italy. Good, always nice to see you. Nice job as always. Well, thank you for saying. I appreciate you watching and tuning in. Excellent tutorial. I expect to see an option to save as a new source in the cropping screen. Thanks. Jules says, say hello to my little friend, a filmmaker who I just asked to watch you today. So, well, hello, Zoe. I guess that's Zoe. And welcome to the show. Robert Linkrum says, howdy from Seal Beach, California. And Time Off with Lee says, did a lot of those videos. I've got the mini next to me to physically do things you show in this live. Well, it's not a mini show. It's an Instream show. It's, as I said at the top of the show, we are taking YoloBox to Instream so you can take your horizontal program and send it out to, let's go to my overhead, so that you can send that, take your horizontal program over here and send that on over to viewers on Instagram. Oh, Martina says, let me wave to Martina. There you go. In Instagram, I only see you. Yes, I am not set up with the overhead camera to go into here. What I could do is I could repurpose my USB camera to point down at the Instream. And I can do that right now. There we go. So this way I can click here and the viewers can see that this is the Instream that I'm using to switch the show. And this is actually a very focal lens, so I could zoom in if I had it unlocked. Telephoto. Nope, that one's locked too. Telephoto. And then you got to focus it. It's very focal, but it's not parfocal. So it doesn't keep the focus as you zoom. So let me just zoom back so it goes back in focus. There we go. That's what we're doing here. We are using a vertical tool to come from my horizontal tool into here, and then I am switching it up so I can switch between what you see on my table and me. And that's what we're doing here today. I wave to Martina. In Instagram, I only see you. Yes, so I fixed that. That is the magic of these tools, is that they can be used together so that you could present the best show to different audiences. The audience, as was mentioned, the audience on the vertical platform, if I did my, like my overhead shot here that you see right over here, this shot is wide. It doesn't work on a vertical platform because you're only going to see this slice in the middle, and that's not great. That's not going to work. So what I need to do is I need to create a vertical content, like something here with extra space at the top, or a vertical shot of this, or take that horizontal like I have here and do different slices from it. That's something I could do with the USB camera, is bring that in and then take, a slice and another slice out of it so I could switch between things. And that is creating a show that works for the vertical audience on Instream, as opposed to doing a show on horizontal and just windowing it like this into that audience. And now if you're on the horizontal, you can actually see that camera right there that ended up being in the shot. So you're not going to see it much here, but it's actually right there. That little black thing is the camera that I just moved. It's kind of tucked up right there in my little arsenal of cameras. And I appreciate everyone who's tuned in. And as always, I like to know where everyone is watching from. If you haven't already chimed in and mentioned where you're watching from, I'd like to know that. And if you have any streaming questions that, you know, they don't have to be in-stream related, but if they're streaming related, that is pretty much what today's show is all about. You know, I've got all these different devices, and, you know, like was asked, somebody had a question about the Mini, and we turned on the Mini and we just went ahead and did it. It doesn't have to be in-stream related. And that's the magic of doing a show about streaming and using streaming tools to do it, is that you can quickly divine an answer that you might not be able to get otherwise. And for those who have just joined a little bit later again, you have to have multiple wireless access points to take advantage of bonding, correct? No, because the Wi-Fi, when you say wireless access point, that typically means Wi-Fi. You can only connect to one Wi-Fi in these devices. They will only, you know, if you have a Wi-Fi access point, you can only connect to one. It's not going to connect to your cell phone via Wi-Fi, and also hotel Wi-Fi. It can't connect to two different Wi-Fis. It's only got one Wi-Fi transceiver, and that transceiver can only be connected to one source. But what you can do is, do I have it here? Did I leave it out? No, I put it away. Wait, give me a sec. If you have Wi-Fi going to the hotel, let's just use that as an example. So you're in a place, you've got Wi-Fi going to your YoloBox. That's one source. Now I could have a cellular hotspot like this, and this cellular hotspot I have specifically because it has an Ethernet port. Now there are other ones that have, this will also work over USB-C. And then what you could do is you could take, this device will share data over USB-C or Ethernet, or probably both. But it will share the data, and then I can bring that into the Ethernet port or the USB-C port of my YoloBox. And now the YoloBox sees two different sources. And then if I had a SIM card, you know, remember that these devices all have a SIM slot. So you could have a SIM card right here, and that becomes your third source. And if you didn't already use that, if you came in Ethernet, Wi-Fi, SIM card, and then you could use a cellular dongle like this one from ZTE, and then you take that and you plug that into your USB port. Now I've got 1, 2, Wi-Fi is 3, SIM is 4. I've got 4 connections in my Mini. And it's kind of amazing to think that this little thing that fits in my pocket is going to have 4 connections to the internet and be bonding across all of them. So that is what we are giving away today. You just have to go and fill out the form. Oh, I see the number of people who have jumped in there. Al, Julio, Jay, Peter, you know, all those people have jumped in there and they want that month of bonding. We're giving that away for free. Thank you to Frank and the YOLO team for making that a possibility. I've wanted to do something for many months, and it was always a question of what could we do that would be easy to give, you know, as opposed to like saying, oh, we could get you a sweatshirt, but then we have to like get the address and then physically mail it. Am I mailing it, or is YOLO mailing it? International shipping, it becomes a thing. Whereas this is just sort of like they can just go to your account and it's there. So that is what's available. If you have a cell phone, you can click on, you can just use your phone and scan this little QR code. Unfortunately, that's not that, you can't see that on the Instream. And I don't have a way to get it in there. Other than taking the USB camera and pointing it at the screen. Let me put that up one more time. And so that is how you can, hopefully, we're going to give this a shot in just a couple minutes. So jump in here and put your name in the head. I should just make those last longer. You know what? I'm just going to take the timers off of those things. Auto hide is off. Done. So I'm just going to leave that one up there. You can scan it and enter. Another question came in. You have to have multiple wireless access points to take advantage of bonding, correct? Yes. Yes, you do. But it can be pretty simple. Like if you're in a building, in an office or whatever, and you can plug into Ethernet, and then you take your cell phone out and you share your data connection over Wi-Fi, boom, that's two. You can now do bonding across both of those sources. So that if Ethernet doesn't have enough and it varies or whatever, or if the cellular doesn't have enough, it can lean on, you know, it could lean on either one at any particular time to make sure your stream can get through. And don't forget, there's also a whole other feature that is available to, if you're using YoloCast, you can use the Ardent streaming protocol. And let me get rid of that overlay. You can use the Ardent streaming protocol, which is a buffer. You know, like we're giving away the bonding, but you know, we could maybe do a little ASP for the next giveaway. What that does is your YoloBox uses the SD card as a buffer, and then on the other end, the server fills up a buffer, like a minute or more of streaming data. And then all of a sudden, if your data tanks, it like bottoms out and there's nothing there, it's going to keep sending your show to the SD card, and the SD card will fill up. Meanwhile, the buffer at the other end that has a minute of content is slowly going to play that content out. And this one's filling up, and this one's filling up. And then when it reestablishes that connection, it then sends all that data that it had saved over to here and fills that buffer back up. And what that does is the people viewing at the end of that buffer, at the bottom part, it's like a water can. You know, you're filling up the top, but it's pouring out of the bottom. Their stream never had any interruption. Now you may have an interruption at the top, but then whoosh, it fills back up. And that's the magic of the Ardent streaming protocol, is that your connection could die. And this works for even just a single connection. Your connection could die for 30 seconds. You know, cellular just completely tanks, but then all of a sudden it picks back up. The viewer would never know. But the downside with this, and I don't really mean it as a downside, but I wouldn't use it for this show, because what it does is it creates that buffer is a delay of over a minute. You know, because you know, Facebook and YouTube already have a 20-second delay, and this is a minute on top of that. So you're talking everybody's viewing about a minute and a half behind real time. So it would be harder to have a dialogue and say, hey, put in comments, you know, and you're not going to hear my question for a minute and a half, and I'm not going to see your response for 2 minutes. So I might even move on to something else where now that answer that you provided isn't applicable to the topic that I'm on. So that becomes a little bit of a logistical challenge if you need that direct interaction. So bonding doesn't have this delay, but the Ardent streaming protocol gives you a more bulletproof type of solution. So let me put that back up. Last few minutes. If you're interested in the giveaway we have for today's show, you can fill that out at the bottom. We've got a few names. Another one came in, and it is a month of bonding. You can use it on the Pro, the Mini, the Instream. It's a month of bonding in your account. So if you have multiple devices, that bonding is available on multiple devices. You know, it's in your account. You got 20 megabytes. So if you're doing a half-hour stream, or I'm doing an hour stream, it's not my hour show is not 20 megabytes of data. It is 4 megabits times 60 minutes. You know, I don't know what that math would be. Somebody put it in the comments. Still trying to wrap my head around bonding, even after watching the videos. Thanks. I use a hotspot with only mini antennas in lousy remote locations. So, hey, I do the same thing. The reason I got this Netgear is because it is a 4x4 router, or 4x4 cellular hotspot, promised up to 1 gigabit speeds because it can connect on multiple bands if your cellular carrier allows it. AT&T does not. AT&T limits this device to 1 connection, but it's a worldwide device. But I can take this and I can put it outside the building. I get a little magnet on the bottom, and I can put it high up on a 12-foot light stand way out in the clear, and then run an Ethernet cable into the building for me. So this is not inside the building where everyone else is. This is outside in the clear with a much better view and access to the towers. So that gives this a much better connection, much better chance at good, solid connectivity than me and everyone else that I'm competing against inside the building. And that Ethernet cable can be hundreds of feet long. So that's why I do that. How will second streaming be added? The bonding will be added to your account, and then you just activate it in your, over here, you just come over here, your bonding is active, and then it would show your two connections, and then you would just activate it and then use it for that particular stream. That's how that would work. As you can see, I don't have it on my account, so I'm not able to use, man, I hope I win, I hope I win. No, I can't win. Names are still coming in, and I will go do that. A lot of those videos. All right, looks like we answered most of the questions, so let me turn this off, and then we're going to try to do this. Let me go here, and then we're going to go to here, and then I'm going to move that out of the way. Peter Miller says, I use a very similar ZTE 5G router, has a facility to insert 2 SIM cards on different networks and will load balance between the two. So it's bonding of bonding. Load balancing is not bonding. Load balancing is sending different things across the network. So incoming could be on one SIM card, outgoing could be on the other SIM. Bonding is actually like doing a deck of cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the same video stream, which is why there needs to be a server at the other end. If you're not paying for a server at the other end, then it's not bonding, because load balancing, you know, separates the connections. So it's like your web browser could be on this thing, your stream could be on this card, and it's balancing the load, the total load on different SIM cards, but the stream is still on one card, one service. Everything else could be on the other card, the other service. It's balancing your total load, but it's not sending that stream across 2 different SIMs, because if you're going across 2 different cellular connections and a Wi-Fi connection, stuff like that, those packets won't arrive in order. They take different pathways across the internet, and then a debonding server has to be at the other end, and it gets those packets 1, 5, 7, 9, 3, 8, and it puts those packets back in the proper order and then ships them off to where they got to go. If you don't have if you're not paying for bonding service, a server at the other end to do that packet reordering, then it's not bonding. If you buy a load balancing router and there's no monthly paid service attached to it, it's basically saying, okay, you've got streaming, that's on this card. You want to do something else in addition to that, that's on this card. But that streaming is still only on one card. Anyway, so let's go back to this and let me see if I can do this. Where is my cursor? I think I'm just going to open, no, not that. No, not that. Stop doing that. All right, let's do the bonding giveaway. There we go. I grabbed all the names. So what we are going to do between Ali, Beatrice, Charles, Dia, Eric, Forimia, we're going to spin right now. Boom, boom, boom. I am happy that this actually worked because I just built it this morning. And the winner is, waiting for it, Eric. Eric, because you filled out the form, we have your email. I will forward that over to Frank, and you are the proud owner of now a month of bonding service. If you, again, if you already if you already subscribed to bonding, another month will be added to your account. So what used to end in March will now end in April. If you don't already have bonding, you will have that credit applied to you that you can turn on when you need it. So thank you to everyone who entered. Thank you to everyone who came to today's show. I appreciate you all being here. My name is Anthony Barocas. I am here in Dallas, Texas. I love to see everybody come tune in for this around the world. Sorry that a few of our normal viewers weren't here today, like Ilya, who is in Israel. So I'm hoping he is okay with what's going on over there. And my thoughts are with everyone who may have family in the Middle East right now. So with that, I will bid you all adieu and look forward to seeing you all next week.